You said it. Stick wrote an article about it yesterday. Ndamukong Suh, former Detroit Lion, Easy's lover, came out
My lover.
and said
What?
the Detroit Lions need to build around Aidan Hutchinson. Here it is, right on Twitter, Ndamukong Suh himself, and this was before you could pay for a blue check, so you know it's him. Hopefully, the GM and ownership are smart enough to build around him. Kind of taking shots a little bit. Not going to lie. How do you feel about Ndamukong Suh standing up for a fellow Lions defender?
Ownership. I don't mind it. I guess my only issue with it is like, no, he's right. He's 100% right. I think the best we ever seen this team was when they had a damn good defense. So if Aidan Hutchinson proves to be what we think he can be, what they drafted him to be, then you continue to build around him as a defensive core. Ndamukong Suh was a whole different type of human being. All right, he was an All-Pro in his rookie year. I don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing Aidan. I'm not telling you Aidan's not going to be good. But the Ndamukong Suh was All-Pro his first year, 10 sacks as a defensive tackle in his rookie year, an interception, forced fumble recovery. Ndamukong Suh was him. That's a different thing to build around. But I 100% agree. You could, for sure, build a defense.
Yeah, nobody's saying Aidan Hutchinson is the Ndamukong Suh or they're the same player.
I'm just saying it's not the same scenario. You know what I'm saying? Like the Lions franchise is definitely stupid for not keeping Suh and building around him.
They did build around him though. They built a defense around him.
When they did,
it's not their fault that they offered him money and he said no.
Well, he got offered more money, so we could have came back
he went
to the
to
table.
Florida. You can't change the tax rates.
You can't, but he also got more money too.
Yeah, I mean they offered him money. He said no. They wanted to keep him.
Counter offer with you match the other guys that are offering him just as much.
Do you know how much money the Lions offered him?
I think it was because I had seen tickets at the time. Yeah, it was I want to say $8 million off because I think in Miami we got the $112 million, if I'm not mistaken. Do you remember, Sam?
I don't remember the specifics. All I know is that he got a better offer from Miami.
Yeah, he got the better offer. If you want to keep the guy, you make the best offer. That's your goal.
Turning down $100 million. There's not much more you can offer.
But there literally is because another team did. And they got it.
Did the Lions have enough money to offer him that much money?
Yeah, they did.
You sure?
They did. And I was actually quite pissed because, again, at the time I was a season ticket holder, they asked for us to renew our tickets before we knew if Suh was coming back or not. And that was my last year as a season ticket holder for the Detroit Lions. I was like, bring them back, and I'll come back. You know what I'm saying? You want my money, let me know what type of product we're going to have on the team, on the field first. What were you about to say, though, Sam?
No, I was just going to speak to the whole, what Ndamukong Suh said about Aidan Hutchinson. And to me, the messenger makes no difference. Obviously, Ndamukong Suh is a former first-round defensive player who really succeeded with the Lions and was great off the bat. Aidan Hutchinson has shown flashes, but obviously is no Ndamukong Suh. But Aidan Hutchinson was picked number 2 overall. And despite some of the criticisms we have about him, he does lead all rookies in sacks. He has 4.5. The second most has 3. That is something. And also, he has shown in 2 games, in 2 wins, against the Commanders, 3 sacks. Against the Packers, that huge goal line interception, that he has made splash plays that impact winning. And he also had a very good game against Dallas. I'd say you could even qualify that as a great game. Aidan Hutchinson, I believe that he is going to pan out. He is going to be that player that we expect him to be, that player that you can build a defense around. And kind of quiet as kept in the linebacking core. You got Malcolm Rodriguez. Derek Barnes had a great game last week. In the secondary, you have Kirby Joseph, who we're going to get to later, who had a phenomenal game last week. Even guys like Jeff Okudah and Jerry Jacobs, you wonder there might be a future around. So you see the defense that they're trying to build, and they're coming off of a game in which they held an Aaron Rodgers-led Packer team to 9 points. That's impressive no matter what. So what Ndamukong Suh is saying, it looks like the Lions might actually be doing.
I agree with Sam. They have been trying to build around him already. Obviously, they're going to build around him. He is that blue chip player. He is the guy you drafted 2nd overall. Was a former Heisman contender. Was the leading sack leader at Michigan. The guy has the pedigree. He has the ability. He has the skill. You need to build around him because you drafted him so high. You put faith into him. You gave him that money. And they already are. You see what they did in that draft, getting more pieces on that defensive line, getting a Kirby Joseph in the back end, getting a Malcolm Rodriguez, who they did not think would be what he is, but he turned out to be a great player. And you see what happens when they add those pieces, when they inject that life into the lineup, simply as adding a Frank Kaminsky back, bringing a Josh Pascal back and having him play alongside Aidan Hutchinson. It's making Aidan better. It's giving pieces on that defensive line to take the pressure off of Aidan Hutchinson. So Aidan's not out there by himself with the ghost of Charles Harris who can't do shit. You have guys out there in Josh Pascal, in Frank Kaminsky, that are getting in the backfield, causing havoc, and making it easier for Aidan to do what he was meant to do, which is come in here and kill the quarterback.
100%. And you're right, though. The Lions did build around Sue, and it went successfully.
And it worked, yeah.
It worked pretty damn well.
Yeah.
The number 2 overall defense, I think it was 2013 or 2014, to the Sue deal. Lions offered him $17 million per year, $58 million guaranteed. Dolphins offered him $19 million per year, $60 million guaranteed. And by the way, it's no state tax in there, too.
Yeah.
I think I saw someone in Woodward Sports Chat say palm trees or pine trees. That probably helps a little bit too.
Does, for sure.
But to the point around Aidan Hutchinson and building around Aidan Hutchinson, yeah, I think they're going to do that. I think he's probably going to be a long-term thing as long as he continues to produce as that. I compared him to Sue, and obviously that's not fair because I think, is Sue a Hall of Famer, would you say, Flannel Sam? You think all of a sudden done? He's Super Bowl champion now on top of the numbers.
Honestly, I would probably say yes, just because, I mean, he's been great. I mean, maybe not great in like when he was on the Rams, but he's been very, very good to great every single stop he's made. He had one of the greatest rookie seasons by a defensive player of all time. He was an integral part of a Super Bowl team, consistent, Pro Bowl, All-Pro. He is absolutely a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, you look at his stats, and I mean, the guy's got 70.5 sacks on his career.
Sue?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's got the Super Bowl. He's got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Pro Bowl appearances, 5 All-Pros, 3 first-team All-Pros, and a Defensive Rookie of the Year.
For sure, Hall of Famer.
That is a Hall of Fame resume, for sure. Yeah, Ndamukong Suh was a problem.
Oh, my God.
And I loved seeing him play. I saw Adam talking shit about Ndamukong Suh today.
Really?
Yeah, saying he was detrimental to their team, his antics on the field, stomping on people and doing all. Ndamukong Suh brought life to the Detroit Lions defense.
There was no running against that team.
Yes.
You could not run the football against that team. And then guess what they doing? They went and got Glover Quinn. They got Darius Slay. And then guess what? Both those guys led the leagues, took turns leading the league in interceptions like following years. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, Ndamukong Suh was a stalwart on that defense, and he brought an edge.
Yes.
You can't be
that Detroit edge.
You're not nice playing football. You
100%.
can't be nice and play football. I'm sorry. You can be nice outside of it. You can be a cool guy outside of it. But when you get in between those lines, you want to kill the guy across from you. Football is a violent sport. It is a car accident sport.
Yeah.
You're going in there. Your goal, especially as a defensive tackle, is to kill the guy across from you and then kill the quarterback. You can't be nice and do that. You can't make friends with the offensive lineman and then kiss the quarterback and tuck him in at bed. You got to rip that offensive lineman off of the ground, throw him on the back, and rip the quarterback's head off. You need to be violent. You need to be aggressive. That's what Suh was. That's why he was a Pro Bowler. That's why he was an All-Pro player. That's why he was a Super Bowl champion, and that's why he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
MP, Western Michigan University, I think that's what it stands for, at least in Woodward Sports Chat, says Suh was never hurt either. Never missed time. That's another great point, too. Mm-hmm. Suh never missed. Dude was like he was crafted out of a boulder. You know what I'm saying? He's like a rock person.
At Nebraska, he was one of the scariest collegiate football players of all time.
And then, another thing, too. What's the characteristic of championship teams in Detroit? The Ndamukong Suh style.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That nasty, that grit. You got the grind line when it comes to the Red Wings. You got the Believe It boys. They were they're grinding out boys, but they're the Believe It boys because they're the underdogs. They grind out the wins. You even go look at the Pistons, the bad boy Pistons. The Lions haven't had championships, since the 50s. They've never heard of a Super Bowl back then.
Yes.
But if there were a chance, it would have been with Ndamukong Suh.
For sure. It would have been with that defense, which was spearheaded by Ndamukong Suh and which fell apart after Ndamukong Suh left.
Yeah.
Because when you have a player of that caliber, Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald, they make up for so much else. Not only do they stop the run, but the interior defensive linemen getting pass rush, getting pressure on the quarterback is so astronomically beneficial for a defense because you don't have to worry about your defensive ends being a Jared Allen, being whoever, Khalil Mack, whoever you want, because you get so much pressure from that middle position. You can get away with having Kyle Vanden Bosch as a geriatric patient and Ezekiel Ansah, who played football for like 2 months before he was signed by the Lions, because you have Ndamukong Suh putting the fear of God in the quarterback. And that makes him scared to step up. That makes him roll out into the waiting arms of those edge rushers.